Hello, future nurses. I want to make a video for you guys talking about epilepsy. This is my son Nathan. We call him Noodle. Noodle, say hi. He's a handsome boy. Epilepsy is just one of his diagnoses. He has many, but it's been a long road, and I just want to say that he fills our heart with joy first and foremost, and he is the most incredible little child in the whole world. So where do I begin? I guess our journey starts when he was 6 months old. He started having seizures. Before that, I knew there was something wrong with him, but doctors just didn't listen to me. I went to 2 different pediatricians. They both just said, oh, if it's really an emergency, you'll call 911. I had an ER doctor tell me that it's a weird neurological thing and sent me home. I've showed videos. I talked to doctors. They physically seen him do it, and nobody really wanted to do anything for him, and they just kind of made me feel like I was crazy, which is super hard to feel when you know in your heart there's something wrong, especially when it comes to your children. Finally, when Nathan was a few days shy of turning 11 months old, we had an appointment, just a consultation. It wasn't even a real appointment, just a consult with a neurologist, because my son wasn't hitting any milestones. And I showed him the video. He left the room. He came back, and I'd done a lot of research on seizures because I knew that's what he was having. I just didn't know what kind. And he told me that my son was having infantile spasms, and my heart dropped because I did do research. I did know what those were, and the outlook was not so good. So it was pretty devastating. We were admitted to the hospital. We stayed in the hospital for 3 days, but they ran all the tests. We got our diagnosis, and I want to say like a week later we started treatment. There's just a few different treatments you can do for infantile spasms, as I'm sure that you are aware. We chose to go with Sabril because I didn't want to use injections. I didn't feel comfortable, especially because my son does have cerebral palsy and he does move a lot. I mean, if he's awake, he's fidgety the whole day. So I didn't feel comfortable trying to do a shot. We did do Sabril. Sabril did work well. And that was in April of 2012. But by June, I started noticing myoclonic jerks. Talked to the doctor about it. And then by Halloween, the day before Halloween actually, he started having tonic seizures, which also developed later into tonic-clonic. He also has absent, atonic, myoclonic. I don't know. He's got like 6 different types. It's a lot. So we did start Topamax. Topamax is okay, but we definitely didn't have any seizure control. It actually ended up getting so bad that I moved in with my mom, because my husband works at night, and the seizures were just all the time. Mostly at night. Unfortunately, that's when they'd happen. They were scary. And I have another son who's, right now he's about to be 8, but at the time was only 4. So it was really difficult to try to, call 911, find somebody to get my son, and it was a big deal. So we just stayed with my mom, which helped. Eventually we did get in-home nursing, so that has been huge. So we later, after the Topamax, started a medication called Onfi. Before the age of 2, my son was diagnosed with Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, which I'm sure you know, but it only affects 1 in 50,000 people who even have epilepsy, so it's rare. But I've actually found a whole network of people who are dealing with this, and it makes me feel like I'm not such a rare situation that I have to be scared as much as I used to be. So Onfi is one of those medications that was created for syndromes like LGS. We've been on that. I call it the miracle drug. It's been our biggest triumph over the despicable epilepsy. We later had to start Keppra, and we are also now on Banzel. My son in June of 2013 had a vagal nerve stimulator placed. It has been doing good for us. It's taken a really long time to try to find a therapeutic setting for him, but this magnet lives with me. If I'm not in the shower, it's on me. I sleep with it on my side. I keep it on me all the time when I'm out and about. I don't leave it anywhere. Some people freak out if they leave their cell phone places. If I don't have a magnet, life is not good for anybody. It's really hard to see your child go through this. Having seizures, and he's so sensitive. Every time he gets sick or there's a lot of stress put on his body, it's difficult. Back in July, he did get his G-tube placed, and since then the seizures have been pretty bad. That's why we started the Banzel. So being on 4 seizure medications at 4.5 years old is a little disheartening. But we have really great care. We have an epileptologist who works around the whole country. We're fortunate enough to have her as our own doctor. She only deals with complex epilepsy. And when she talks about LGS, she talks about it like it's the common cold. She talks about when her LGS patients, and it makes me feel better to think, well, maybe this isn't such a terrible thing. I know that there could be much better diagnosis, but he's an amazing child, and we try to not treat him any different. We've gone through so much with the epilepsy. It has been the hardest thing that we've dealt with for Nathan because the seizures are so intense. I was so afraid. I mean, there was a point in time I wanted to put him in a home because I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know where to turn. I was scared. I was scared he was going to die. It was a horrible feeling. Luckily, I got the in-home nursing, and that has been a game changer. At this point, of course, the seizures are scary. Of course, I hate them. But I'm dealing with them a lot better now. I gotta remember, it's scary for me to watch, but he has to go through them. And that's heartbreaking. I hate that he has to deal with them and he cries, but, you know, we hold him and we kiss him and we put him on his side and we calm him down and we talk to him, and it makes it better. And his big brother is super supportive. He is an amazing brother. He knows how to do seizure care. He doesn't let the seizures frighten him. Of course they're scary, but he's a champ, and we're blessed with Nathan, and Nathan's blessed with us, and we try to do everything together as a family as normal as possible. We try not to let the epilepsy control us. We go to theme parks. We go out to dinner. We go to the store. We go shopping. We do all the things that everybody else does. I just have my guard up a little more because I do have to be cautious, but I remind myself too, I can always call 911. I have Diastat. There are things that I can do if he has a seizure. He should not feel any less of a child, any less of the experiences that any other child has, just because he has some disabilities. He's incredible. I really can't stress that enough. He's such an amazing child, and I love him so much. And it's really hard to think back to those days when I considered, like, maybe I should place him somewhere because I don't know if I can do it. I'm so glad that that did not happen. I couldn't imagine not having him here every day with me. He teaches me so many things. He teaches me patience. He teaches me, I mean, I can't tell you enough. Way more than I can teach him. We've had plenty of hospitalizations. We've spent Christmas at the ER because of seizures. We spent his birthday at the ER because of seizures. We have been hospitalized because we went to a doctor's appointment and they wanted to do a 24-hour EEG, which, by the way, actually was in August because the seizures have been so bad, and it was cleaner than it's ever been. Obviously still abnormal because the LGS, but magical words to my ears. We did think that he might have Angelman's because he does display a lot of the features physically and even developmentally of Angelman syndrome. It did come back that he does not. I do want to chalk it up to probably his birth. His pregnancy was fine. The birth, they didn't want to give me an episiotomy. I pushed. He was stuck out. He had to do an episiotomy while his head was stuck. I was blacking out, so I can only imagine how he was feeling. And then when he came out, he didn't cry for 4 minutes. I do believe that that contributes to everything that is wrong with my son. but it doesn't change anything about him. His disabilities are just a part of who he is, just like his hair was brown. But I don't define him by those disabilities. His hair is brown, but I don't call him the brown-haired kid. Yes, he has epilepsy, but I don't say, oh, here's my son with epilepsy. This is my son. His name is Nathan. We call him Noodle, and he's amazing. I try to have a more positive outlook. You know, we take it one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, even, because every day is unpredictable. We could be happy and laughing and fine 1 second, and then we could be in a huge bout of seizures the next. Life is unpredictable. Epilepsy does not discriminate. Epilepsy does not care what day of the week it is, what special occasion might be occurring, where you are. It's going to come when it wants to come, and you deal with it when it does. I hope that this video has helped you get an inside look of a personal experience with epilepsy. I might not have it, but I definitely go through it, and I hope that this helps you guys. Strive for research, strive for a cure, strive for better control. My son's epilepsy is rare and it is very difficult. I really don't want to go the ketogenic diet route, but at this point, if we have to, there's nothing I wouldn't do for my son. I would go to the moon and back 1,000,000 times to get him the treatments that he needs to get him better. Thank you guys for listening and for watching, and I do hope that this helps. I appreciate it. Thank you.